So many people come in saying, I'm always tired, I don't sleep well, and I don't have any energy, right? So being tired, days, months where I can't get out of bed, I'm just way too tired. I drink more coffee every day. I started off with 1 cup, now I'm up to 3 cups. I drink a whole pot of coffee. I don't feel like I want to do anything. I don't sleep well. I wake up tired, I can't sleep, I'm tossing and I'm turning. It's never enough sleep. So many people, I call it the Netflix syndrome. They're up at night because they can't sleep watching an entire season of whatever episode that they want to watch. They're feeling depressed, unmotivated, isolated. Anyone here feel any of these things? Yeah. I know I do, many times. Yeah. So this is what we see constantly. But here's some of our challenges, right? So we go to the doctor, they do a bunch of blood work, and they say, oh, you're great, everything's normal. And you're like, crap, I don't feel normal. You get on Google, you search for stuff, and it gives you 100 things that's wrong with you, everything from you have cancer, to you have rheumatoid disease, you have all sorts of stuff. Then you're like, okay, well, I want to get better, but I just don't have time. I have kids, I have a family, I have a full-time job. I work like crazy, I have dishes, I have laundry. I have so many other commitments, I can't say no. Now I don't know what to do. I don't know what food I should eat. Should I do the keto diet, a low-carb diet, the Atkins diet, right? The Beach 30, right? Every month there's a new diet out there. What do I do? How do I exercise? Right, so here they have 7 different types of workout things, I think, right? 7 different little studios you guys have here. Which one do I go to? Do I bike? Do I do what is that, a Spartan thing? Do I do CrossFit? What do I do? There's so many different things to do, and your doctor says nothing or says you're fine, just go exercise. Well, what do I exercise? Go eat better. Well, what do I eat? So these are some of the things that we always hear. Now, before we get into the whole stress, sometimes fatigue and tiredness is definitely a cause of some issues. So you do want to go to your doctor. Just start off simple, get some blood work done, and you can see here's some just basic, quick things you can get done. You can figure this out within a week and know, okay, well, am I anemic? That's why you want to check the CBC. Is there a problem with my kidneys or my liver, my vitamin D, my B12, all of which can cause fatigue, can cause you to feel lethargic? Is my iron levels low? Hemoglobin A1C is checking for diabetes or high blood sugars. That's another cause. It's very, very easy to check your thyroid, TSH and T4. So these are all hormones. Any one of these is abnormal. It can cause fatigue. It can cause lethargy, tiredness. Although probably 75% of the people, this is always normal. Probably even more than that. Most of the people I see are young individuals, in the high-tech industry, in their 30s and 40s, and all these numbers are pretty much always normal. And yet they still feel like crap. So we talked about this. So you're gonna look for sleep apnea, vitamin deficiencies, thyroid, high sugars, bad diet, dehydration, depression, all of which pretty easy to diagnose. Within a week or two, you would know, okay, I have this or I don't have this, and then we want to go ahead and look for other things. So stress. So this is the biggest thing we're going to focus on talking about today. So it's a silent struggle, one, because none of us ever want to talk about it. To say you're stressed out means that you can't handle life, and so most people don't acknowledge that I'm stressed out. Even when I talk about myself, we have 4 kids, we have our own office, we're trying to work out, trying to do everything, and other parents say, oh man, how is it? Your tendency to say, oh, it's fine, it's good. But how often can we get real with ourselves and with other people and say, oh my God, today was horrible, and my kids wore me out, and I didn't sleep last night, and I feel like crap, and my body hurts, and I just want to sit down, I don't want to do anything. The person all of a sudden goes, oh yeah, that's nice, okay. And they kind of walk away from you. They don't want to have a conversation. And so we get accustomed to saying, I'm fine, everything's good, and we move on in our life, and all of a sudden we don't build a connection with the other person, and every one of us goes feeling like something's wrong and I can't get better. So there's been a lot of recent studies on stress. So 75% of adults, they say that in the last month, they've experienced moderate to high levels of stress. Out of those 75%, 77% say they've actually felt it physical symptom of stress, and we'll talk about what some of those could be. But these numbers are huge, and the cost of this is costing employers $300 billion a year in healthcare costs to employers and missed work. I don't feel good, I'm sick, I have the flu, I have a cold, I have acid reflux, I have a headache, I have a migraine, can't go to work, I can't go to work, can't go to work. And this is constant. So what are the big stressors? So job, your relationship, whether that be with your spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, fiance, your parents, your kids, the state of this nation. So actually on that 67% said they're stressed out about the state of the nation right now, state of the world and the environment. It's huge. Finances, right? Especially living in this area. So what does stress do? Now this is a very small list on your body. Everything from headaches, body aches, fatigue, sexual issues, stomach problems, acid reflux, ulcers, sleep issues, chest pain, acne, skin problems, skin darkening, hair loss, hair thinning, whitening hair. All this stuff is just on your body. And the list can go on and on and on. These are just some of the very common ones. Mood, right? You get really anxious, you get depressed, you get angry. You can't deal with things as you normally would. You feel like you just don't have the mental capacity to deal with things. You get edgy, you get quick, road rage, right? All this stuff comes from stress. So you start having the anger outburst, you start going through drinking more alcohol, more smoking, you start withdrawing socially, less exercise, dietary changes. So many of you guys are here at the gym. You may say, oh, I'm signing up for my gym membership. You're here gung-ho for a month, and then life comes in the way. And you get tired, and you get fatigued, and all of a sudden you stop coming to the gym. You start going from 5 days a week, 3 days a week, to once a week, to once a month, and then you're like, I'm not going, I'm canceling my membership. So these are the types of behavior. When you start doing that, you check into yourself and say, okay, well, what's going on in my life? Am I just really busy, or is this stress? So this slide is kind of, some people like to know the science of what happens. I'm not going to go into detail, and this is a very, very high level, right? We have this little part in our brain called the amygdala, and that's kind of, something's going to happen, and the amygdala kicks in. It releases a response that goes to this part of our brain called the hypothalamus, and that sends a signal through something called the autonomic nervous system. It goes to adrenal glands, which sit above your kidneys down here, and that releases epinephrine. What epinephrine does, right? If someone's heart is stopping in the hospital, we inject them with epinephrine. It jumpstarts their heart, so it makes their heart beat rapidly, faster. It raises your blood pressure. So that right there is highly needed to keep us alive. So if you're crossing the street and a car is about to come and you're looking this way, a lot of times we'll just jump out of the way and you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize that I jumped out of the way and what happened. Because before your eyes can see that the car is coming and you're about to get hit, your amygdala already knows what's going on, and boom, you jump out of the way. And that happens so fast, and that epinephrine kicks in so fast, and that's why you're able to jump out of the way faster than you normally would have in a normal situation. So stress is highly important to keep us alive, and we really, really, really need that. Now the problem comes with the sustained chronic stress. So when that stress never goes away, the same part, the command center, the hypothalamus, releases a hormone, goes to our pituitary gland, which is right here in the front of our brain, which then goes to the adrenal glands and releases cortisol. When our cortisol kicks in, for a short period of time, it's great because it helps us reset our system, makes that epinephrine go away and all that. But when it's up for a long time, cortisol actually starts to cause you to gain weight. It causes you to crave food. And so then you eat more. So when you're stressed out, that's why people, when you're stressed, you go to your comfort foods, mac and cheese, potato chips, Doritos, French fries, Coke, all that stuff. And then we start gaining weight and we feel like crap. And then so we get more stressed out, and that cycle just continues over and over and over again. So what do we do? So there's a number of solutions out there, and I think all of you here have taken the first step. You're at a gym. You're working out, and that is huge. If you weren't here, you're not working out, you're not exercising outside, you're not doing something for yourself, then to solve this problem gets really, really hard. And out of everyone that's at the gym, you guys are here listening to how can I solve this issue, that is even bigger, because now you're looking to do something active to take this problem into your own hands so you can solve it, so you can move on and have a more fulfilling life. So 6 things that you can work on. And so these are the 6 things we work on in our office with our patients. So when they come in stressed, we work on physical activity, which is what you guys are doing here, their relationships, sleep, creating good habits, getting rid of the bad ones, alcohol, smoking, drugs, all that kind of stuff, any other bad habits you may have, and then eating really good food. So now, quick story. Stories are always fun. We had a patient come in. He was a high-tech sales executive, been doing it for a long time, one of the #1 sales guys in his company, did amazing, and his job didn't want to let him go. And every time he'd say, I'm going to quit, they'd give him a raise, and he would stay. I'm going to quit, and he'd give him a raise. And he's like, I'm making so much money, I can't quit. I said, okay. I said, what are you doing here? He said, well, so anyway, he came, we have a couch in our office, and he sat on the couch, and he literally just fell over. He's like, I'm so tired, I hate my life, I don't even know what to do. So I said, okay, well, let's start with some blood work. And so we checked all that stuff I told you. He, 41 years old, he had diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. He had gained about 30 pounds in the last year and a half, and he felt like crap. He had kind of cut himself off, no more social relationships. The only social relationships he had was going out drinking with the people that he was selling to, and spending close to $1,000 a week on alcohol for himself and the people he was drinking with. So, I said, you can continue this life, or we can sit down and make some real change. What do you want to do? I said, you know what, I feel like I'm going to die, and I hate my life. I'll do whatever you tell me to do. I said, no, if you're serious, let's start today. He said, okay, what do you want me to do? I said, stop drinking. What do you like to do? He said, I love playing squash. I said, go play some squash. Let's get you on meds, because your diabetes is so bad. Let's get your blood pressure down under control so you don't kill yourself playing squash. So we got him on the proper meds temporarily. Within a month, we took him off his diabetes meds, his blood pressure meds. His cholesterol was, in 3 months, back down to normal. He had lost, in a month, he lost 10 pounds. Within 3 months, he lost 15 to 20 pounds. Within 6 months, disease-free, loving life again. In that process, he realized he needed to quit his job. He quit his job. Within a month, found another job that was higher paying, less travel, because during that time we worked with him to realize, what are your goals? And he wrote them down, and he started to realize what he needed. He wrote down, and exactly what he wrote down is exactly what he got. He said, I want a job that doesn't require travel, a job that I need more money, so I can take care of my family, a job that I can afford to live in Silicon Valley. And he got every one of those things by taking care of himself, spending less time. He started working on playing squash regularly. He started eating really, really good foods. And it was an amazing story. And there's so many people like this that when you get serious enough, you can make the change. Now, just because he was on the verge of having this breakdown, I don't think is what got him better. Because there's so many people that lasts about a month. So there's so many studies that show after a heart attack, you're so gung-ho about, I'm going to change my life tomorrow. And you do for about a month, and then you go right back to your old habits. So sustained change is what you really need to do. It's not a 1-month thing. So exercise. So exercise increases your healthy hormones, it improves your mood. So doing some cardio, doing weight training, doing some high-intensity interval training. So the high-intensity interval training really helps to elevate the mood. It helps to rev your metabolism. It helps to increase your HDL cholesterol, and it just gets you going. The nice thing about it is you don't have to do it for a really long time. You can do short spurts of it, and it has amazing effects. Diet. So plant-based diet, which is antioxidant, a meat-based diet, which causes oxidation. So we want to eat blueberries and pomegranates and have all this antioxidant, but when you start eating meat, you're doing the complete opposite. So decreasing or getting rid of your meat intake. So if you're going to eat meat, 10% of your diet, meat. If not, get rid of it. Healthy bacteria, the probiotics in your belly. So all those healthy bacteria actually produce most of the healthy brain hormones like serotonin, norepinephrine, that you need to keep you happy, right? So when you have a low serotonin, you start feeling sad and depressed. When you have high serotonin levels, all of a sudden you feel really, really good, you feel happy, you feel bouncy, and that starts in your gut. So if you're eating really good food, you're having a wholesome diet, you protect your good gut bacteria, and you'll feel better. Low carbs. So we as a country eat way too many carbs, right? Aren't we? I mean, everything we have is bread-based, grain-based, so we gotta start getting rid of that in everything we do. And then alcohol. Alcohol is such a social way to bring people together, but we are drinking way too much alcohol. And alcohol, one recent study that just came out showed that drinking 1 bottle of wine a week is equivalent to smoking 7 cigarettes a week. So, I mean, wine even, right? I mean, so many people saying, oh, red wine is good for me. That was kind of debunked a while ago. You can drink grape juice and get the same benefit, but you're getting tons of carbs, tons of sugar, and no benefit other than it kind of allows you to socialize without thinking about it. But there's so many detrimental effects to alcohol. So that's one of the things you definitely want to get rid of or cut down in your life. Sleep, this is a big one. And this is a hard one. This is where the Netflix syndrome comes in. 2 hours before bed, no gadgets. That means no cell phone, no TV in bed, no iPad, no YouTube, no WhatsApp, no email, no phone calls, no audiobooks, no reading on your iPad, no Kindles, none of that stuff. Go back to old school. Buy books. Buy real books, real magazines, real newspapers, right? I mean, CNN doesn't change that often. Whatever you read tomorrow is going to be there. Whatever you read today is going to be in the newspaper the next morning. I know at our house we started ordering a newspaper, and it's been amazing. With our children, when we'd read the news in the morning or whenever, it kept seeing us on our phones, and now if we open a newspaper, we're not on our phone, and the kids now see, oh, you guys are reading, and they pick up a book, and they start imitating, right? So it has a lot of other benefits. 2 hours before bed, no food, no drinks. And the drinks are because a lot of people end up having to go pee in the middle of the night, and it wakes you up in the middle of the night. So if you go 2 hours before bed, no fluids, and then pee right before bed, hopefully it doesn't wake you up at night. Along with that, no caffeine after 12 o'clock, because that keeps you awake. It messes with your mental rhythm. So have whatever you want in the morning, none after 12 o'clock. And hopefully if you start doing these things, you won't even need coffee in the mornings. If you love coffee, you can have it for taste and for fun, but you won't need it as a pick-me-up. No lights on in the room and no cell phones in the room. So a lot of times we don't use the cell phone, but we put it to charge, and then you'll get WhatsApp messages from other countries, you'll get notifications from your friends that wake up or up at 2 o'clock in the morning and they share posts and your phone goes bzz, 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 right? And then the light on a lot of the phones, the alarm goes off or buzzer goes off or this alert goes off. And even though you stay sleeping, we have 4 stages of sleep, you get out of your REM sleep, so which is the last stage, which is the restorative sleep, and it wakes you up to like stage 1 or 2, and then you go right back to sleep. And then you wake up again, and you go right back to sleep. So that's the same thing that happens in sleep apnea, but most of us don't have sleep apnea, but we have a phone in our room, which does the same thing. And so it messes with our sleep, so we wake up in the morning, and I don't want to get out of bed. We should be able to, boom, pop up out of bed, no issues. All right. And this one, relationships, probably the most important one out of all 3 of these is having relationships. Friends, family, volunteering, whether that be a church, a temple, a synagogue, a mosque, wherever you go, doesn't matter, neighbors, but you have to curb your social isolation. You have to get rid of, I'm alone in my house, get out. You know, you're here at a gym, ClubSport spent all this extra money creating a cafe, use it. Sit down, have a cup of coffee with a friend. Meet here 15 minutes early, have a cup of coffee, go work out, have a cup of coffee after, bring lunch from home, eat here, and then leave. That connection you build is huge, and we'll talk about that. So connections. This is where I want to spend a lot of time because connecting with other people essentially can save your life. I mean, the power of connection is so big that, again, for some reason, all the new studies like to connect everything to cigarettes. So loneliness and social isolation is as damaging to the health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. I mean, that's a lot. and is found to be more dangerous than obesity. Now, we have to think about why is this, right? Why is this so dangerous? So loneliness goes way back to our primitive days where being alone was dangerous. So when we're by ourselves, our body thinks something is wrong. And so when it thinks that something is wrong, remember that slide with the stress response? So what happens when it thinks something is wrong, all of a sudden it releases epinephrine. So it speeds up your heart rate. Then it releases cortisol to help protect you. But that cycle just keeps on going and going and going. And so it leads to chronic inflammation. It leads to gaining weight. It leads to high heart rates. It leads to high blood pressure, obesity, leads to diabetes. All these chronic diseases start when we're by ourselves. And so when you get rid of the loneliness factor, all of a sudden your body goes, oh, I'm with somebody. And when you can look at somebody in the eyes, when you can connect with somebody, and even if all you do is talk about everything bad in your life, it allows you to relax. It allows you to feel a sense of belonging. It allows you to connect with another person, which instantly brings down your stress, which instantly makes you feel better. And today, more than ever, I mean, it's becoming the next public health crisis that public health departments are working on is loneliness. How to get kids to play outside, how to get adults to get outside, how to fill our parks again, how to get kids to do things so that they're not at home playing video games, watching other people play video games, being on social media all the time, and not interacting with other human beings. And it's becoming a big, big, big problem. So how do we connect? We got to connect 3 ways. 1, we have to connect with ourselves. We have to connect with others, and we have to connect with nature. These 3 things that we have to do. So this slide just talks about a few ways we can do that, right? So meditation is the workout for our brain. You guys are all here working out your muscles, getting strong biceps and flat abs, but what about our brain? So meditation is the workout for the brain. Writing in your journal, writing about anything you want. You can get it out of your head onto paper. You can throw the paper away if you want as soon as you're done. But write about what you want to do. Yoga, breathing, getting the oxygen back into your body. Gratitude and forgiveness. Right? Think about, what am I grateful for today? When you start writing, at the end of your journal, write 5 things you're grateful for at the end of that. It could be simple things. Someone opened the door for me today. Someone bought me a cup of coffee. Someone looked at me and smiled. I got a raise at work. I bought a new house. It could be big or small. It doesn't matter. First time you do it, you'll probably write 3 things down and be like, oh man, nothing else good happened to me. The next day you'll be like, oh, I have to write 5 things. You'll start looking for it. And all of a sudden, as you keep doing this every day, you'll start to see amazing things, amazing people all over you, which elevates you, makes you feel better from within, and that allows you to start having a smile on your face and just living life to its fullest and experiencing what the world has to offer. And then forgiveness. Right? If you can forgive yourself for whatever mistake you did, for whatever you've said, then you can move on. When we don't forgive ourselves, we don't forgive others, you always ourselves. And then 3rd, nature. Unstructured play. When you go hiking or camping, there's no planned activity. When you go out into nature, not a structured thing like, well, I'm going to go play soccer, I'm going to play cricket, I'm going to play field hockey, I'm going to go swimming. You might do that all outside, but it's all structured. You know exactly what's going to happen, how it's going to happen, how much time you're going to be there for. But when you do unstructured play, you have no idea what's going to come your way. You don't know if you have to jump over a rock. You don't know if you have to dig a hole. You have no idea. When you're at the beach, you don't know if you're going to dig a sandcastle, if you're going to jump into the ocean, if you're going to lay on the sand. You don't know. It's also a way to disconnect from your gadgets. What this does is it helps build your executive function. It allows you to make decisions in a split second without having a plan, which helps us throughout our entire life. And it's kind of a side topic, but if we're not out in nature, we're never going to appreciate it. If we don't know what it feels like to run in a stream, if we don't know what dirt feels like and what it feels like to be in the smell of redwood trees, we're not going to care about deforestation. We're not going to care about the climate. We're not going to care about what happens to nature. So the only way we can care about what happens to nature is also by connecting ourselves to nature and our families and our kids to nature. So speaking of kids, it starts in childhood. So much stress and anxiety that we deal with today started in our childhood. And maybe it's too late for us here now, we're all adults, but in our children, in our friends' children, in our grandchildren, we can start to say, hey, let you be free of the anxiety and the stress that the adults today deal with, so that you in the future, 20 years from now, aren't dealing with stress and anxiety, because you are going to know how to deal with the risks that come towards you, how to deal with the adversity that you're going to be faced with. No matter what profession you choose, no matter where you live, you are going to have to deal with that. So right now, kids get 4 to 7 minutes of unstructured play a day. That's it. And about 7.5 to 8 hours of media time every single day. I mean, it's crazy. Kids aren't taking enough risks. So they're not socializing. And so, as we talked about, so one of the stories on this is one of our younger ones. They were playing at school and they got a ball or frisbee, something I can't remember, stuck in a tree. And the teacher came out and got a big ladder and put it there. Or first she asked the kids, how do you think we can get this? How do we think we can get it down? Some said, oh, we can get a stick, we can use a broom. One kid said, oh, we can get a ladder. She said, that's a good idea. So, it was a preschool, there's a bunch of parents there that day. So she got down this big ladder to be able to reach the top of the tree. And she told the kids, okay, well, who wants to go first to go get the ball? And the parents all almost had a heart attack. Are you seriously gonna are you letting them climb? She's like, yeah, why not? Let's see what happens. She's like, I'm standing right next to them. And the parents literally could not handle to let their kid go up that ladder. So one by one, just told parents, why don't you guys stand back? Let them do what happens. Let's see what happens. So some of them climbed 3 or 4 rungs, came back down. Some climbed halfway, came back down. And she showed the parents that kids have an innate way to take care of themselves. They know what risks they can and cannot take. They know what they're comfortable with. But if we never give them the chance to climb that ladder, they're never going to know what they can or cannot handle. And if they do not know what they can or cannot handle, when they get into adulthood and they have to deal with something, they're not going to know if they can handle that or not. And so what do? They just don't even. And they lose opportunities. And if they're forced to still do it, they get really anxious, they get stressed out, and that's where they cannot deal with failure. So we have to allow kids to take risks in order to fail, so that they can deal with life and what it has to offer. All right, reset. So another story, mom overload. So how many of you are moms here? All right, so you know how it is. I probably don't have to say too much. Usually most moms are responsible for cooking, cleaning, laundry, dishes, making sure their kids wake up on time, go to school, get to their activities, and then somewhere in there your husbands help out doing whatever they can. And so we had a mom come in that decided that, hey, you know what? I can't handle working and raising kids, and I want to focus on my kids. So she quit her job. She started focusing on the kids. She tried to do everything right. She tried to work out a little bit, but she started getting overwhelmed. Her peers started judging her for the way she was raising her kids, for trying to be perfect in the things that she was doing, saying, you know what, you can't sustain to make a lunch for them every single day. You're going to go crazy. Just buy them hot lunch. And they started putting her down. They started saying that you're going to fail. And she started to feel this. She started to take this out on herself. She started to disconnect from her husband. It caused their relationship to suffer. She started gaining weight, right? And you can think about what happened. So we worked with her, same thing, but with her, instead of focusing on any of her diet or exercise or anything, we focused on herself. And when she realized that she's okay with what she's doing, she became confident in what she's doing on her own. She started to build the confidence to stand up for what she believed in, start to speak up for what she believed in, make the time then for herself, and she herself changed her life. And today, we still see her, and she's doing great. Her kids are thriving, she's thriving, and right? But it was about her connecting with herself was her main issue. And she had lost that connection about herself because of what other people were telling her, what other people were advising her. And that may work for other people, but it doesn't work for me. And you have to know that what works for me may not necessarily work for you or you or you. You have to do what's best for yourself. And along that process, take other people with you so that you don't isolate yourself saying, this is my way and that's the only way. But if we can have a healthy relationship saying, oh, you can do it this way and I'll do it this way, but you know what, we can still want to walk together. We can still share a cup of coffee together. We don't necessarily have to do things the way other people do it. And just because someone does it differently, we don't have to isolate ourselves. So, talked about all this, and now maybe I'm 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years old, and I'm sitting here, and I already have disease, I already have diabetes, I'm already overweight, I already have high blood pressure, I have cholesterol, I have issues, or I have a bad family history. My dad had a heart attack, he has diabetes, my mom has this. Is it too late for me? We've found that almost every chronic disease is reversible if we put in the work. If we are able to change our mindset, decrease our stress, if we're able to exercise, if we're able to eat well, maintain good relationships, we can actually reverse the disease process and get healthier. There's so many studies, there's so many things out there that show that especially heart disease, atherosclerotic plaque, which is the blockage that happens in your heart, is reversible within 5 years. It will completely go away, or your body will learn to bypass that and create new blood vessels to give oxygen to your blood so you don't have another heart attack. And numerous studies have shown that this will happen without drugs. No drug we have will reverse disease. They will just delay the onset of you having a bad outcome. They will not reverse disease, but changing your lifestyle and mainly decreasing your stress, building connections, these are two big things. And then along with some dietary and exercise changes will reverse your disease and prevent it from happening.